Hey guys, Abby here. Welcome back. Today I am bringing you an email from someone who wanted to share their story about being transgender. Um, but before we get into that and I share that with you, please be sure to check out my new channel, which is Fet Talk with Abby, and subscribe there. We discuss all kinds of fetishes, kinks, and alternate relationship lifestyles there. Any and all information that you want can be found there. Don't forget to subscribe if I hadn't mentioned that already. And here we go. Hello, Miss Abby. My name is Miss. We're just going to give Miss for anonymity. I am 39 years old and I am transgender. I've been smoking Marlboro Menthol Lights 100 since 14. Growing up, I always felt very different from the other boys. I was very much a loner. I prefer the company of books over people because I loved to learn and read about far-off places to escape the merciless bullying that I endured. I was in an advanced learning classes and progressed very rapidly in school, and that made life 10 times worse. I was called a weirdo, other things, etc., etc. I grew up with 3 brothers, and I was always referred to as the soft one. My childhood friends were girls, as I felt much more comfortable with them. We would paint our nails black for me, as it was slightly more acceptable for a boy, and watch MTV back when it actually featured music. Oh my gosh, back in the day. They would talk about boys and boyfriends, and I just always felt left out because I just didn't understand many things about myself. I felt, for a lack of a better term, asexual was more or less treated as such, and was more or less treated as such. My best friend at the time, we'll refer to her as BFF, became a smoker at 13. We both were into metal music and punk rock and were seen as outcasts. It was an escape mechanism for us, and were definitely brought together in a common struggle dealing with bullying. After a severe beating by 4 boys, I was bruised and tearful, and she offered me a cigarette. At first I turned it down, but finally I just said screw it and joined the club. It was a magical experience indeed. Everyone smoked back then, and it was a much better time in America, in my opinion. I remember being in Walmart or the mall or restaurants, and smoking was allowed everywhere. Better times. My mom would have her friends over, and they'd drink wine and smoke cigarettes and gossip. I always wanted to be included, much to the chagrin of the ladies, who possibly had more spicy gossip that they couldn't divulge due to my presence. Sorry, ladies. I would be told to go outside with the men, and that would badly hurt my feelings. I didn't quite understand why. I wanted to have a glass and a pretty cigarette case as well, even though I was a child and didn't smoke or drink. Suppose I just wanted to fit in. Fast forward to 15 years old, and I had graduated high school and was working at the local Pizza Hut. I, as well as the waitresses, would go back out back to smoke. My God, I can't even read. We were too young to smoke, but no one really cared back then. We were young people working full time, so we were seen as adults by many, and I felt like one. The topic of tango and dating came up a lot, but as usual, I tried to deflect, deny, or change the subject because it made me very uncomfortable. I was working as a boy and going home at night and wearing dresses BFF gave me and smoking cigarettes and read in my room. It was a very confusing time. I was going through puberty, but I was a very late bloomer. Other boys spoke of tango exploits, true or not, as well as consistently joking about self-love. At that point in life, I'd experienced neither, so it was all an alien concept to me. I felt arousal, but it was very different for me. My rosebud would ache and pulse, and I felt very ashamed and confused. I was constantly shaming myself for being gay because there's just no way that this was normal. Perhaps it is not common, but a human feeling nonetheless. I always stayed alone due to several social anxieties. BFF finally dragged me to a party. There were green cigarettes and gallons of alcohol. I thought the alcohol tasted like crap for about 45 minutes before I started to feel the anxiety go away due to the booze taking effect. For the first time ever, I felt relaxed around lots of people. I had smoked green before, but only a few times, and that night I learned my Marlboro menthols were a perfect combination. As the night came to an end, I was absolutely wasted and had already smoked a whole pack and needed more. BFF looked more mature for her age and easily bought me 2 packs at the gas station on her way to drop me off at my parents' house. My parents had no idea I smoked, but they were both smokers. I kept it a secret, not so much because of my young age, but because it was a major part of my developing feminine identity. I thought for sure they'd see how I cradled my cigarette and took deep drags and realized their son was a tranny. I associated smoking with the ladies I grew up around, and that I had crushes on several of them, but that I wished to be them, and I felt for sure I would be outed. I was pretty much allowed to come and go as I pleased because I was a 15-year-old high school graduate and had a full-time job and helped pay the bills. However, they would have been upset if I staggered into the house at 15 years old, wasted, drunk, and high. I snuck into my room and tripped over all my stuff due to the drunkenness and fell into my bed. I put on my nightgown and lit a Marlboro Menthol Light 100 and contemplated the night of my first party. I questioned my gender identity and my sexuality and cried. I was so depressed because it seemed so clear-cut and easy for everyone else, and I was hurt and jealous and didn't understand myself. I was intensely into my feelings due to the alcohol, and suddenly I decided it was time to find out. I will not get too graphic, but let's just say I touched myself for the first time back there, and after sneaking a cucumber out of the fridge, I had my very, very, very first orgasm, and it was to this day the most electrifying experience I've ever had. I smoked a whole pack of menthols during this exploration session, and at that moment I learned about why smoking is so amazing during and after tango. mom's friend, one of my mother's friends. We'll call her mom's friend. She was 45, 50 at the time and was BFF's aunt. I oftentimes went to her house to do chores for money, and she was a very close family friend. She was divorced from her husband and remained single for many years, but on occasion had women that she had dated. She always had a short pixie haircut and was a sultry lady and very kind. She was like a second mom to me. She also smoked Marlboro Menthol 100 Lights. I loved watching her smoke because I felt it was so sexy, and she was bisexual and was out and proud about it, and I admired that. I wanted to be just like her. One day, completely out of the blue, she asked me to sit down at the coffee table. She told me my black and purple goth style nails looked super pretty and that she respected the fact that I lived as a boy but painted my nails anyway. She grabbed her cigarette case and lit a Marlboro Menthol. She then slid her case over to me. I told her I didn't smoke, but she laughed and said, "Look, I know you smoke. BFF told me all about it." I felt my face flush and fear and was wondering just how much about me BFF had told her. I had very religious parents, and my certain sexual and gender leanings would possibly be a problem. I lit a cigarette and she told me it's okay and that I was amongst a friend. She asked me if I was gay, to which I told her I was totally clueless. Then she made the most embarrassing comment ever. "So BFF tells me you're a vegetarian." OMG, I couldn't believe BFF told her. I was so embarrassed, and she laughed really hard. And then slowly I started laughing, hiding my face. OMG. And then just told her everything. I was a confused 16-year-old and had no one to talk to about this kind of stuff. Mom's friend assured me that she went through similar issues growing up and that it was okay and that she would never out me to my family. I cried with her and smoked cigarettes and drank a little wine. Mom's friend said, "You're out of school, you work, you have a job. There's no reason why you can't smoke and have a drink." She was so cool about it all. Time went by and I was now 17 and still no girlfriend or boyfriend or anything. And Mom's friend called me over to mow her yard. Afterwards, we smoked a little green and drank. I pulled out my cigarettes, but I forgot my lighter, so Mom's friend lit it for me. We were on the porch, and she out of nowhere says, "If you're going to be a lady, you need to cross your legs and sit up straight." Again, I was hit with nervousness and shame, but did as I was told. It was an exciting feeling to be accepted for who I wanted to be. She said, "I just want you to know that no matter what you choose, I'll always love you, and your mom will too, even if she doesn't quite understand people like us." She retreated to a back room and brought out a big box wrapped in a sparkly pink wrapping paper and told me, "I know you've got a lot of struggles in your life, but I do in fact understand, and this is for you. Do not open it until you get home." We smoked a few more Marlboro menthols together and she hugged me and I drove home. I was freaking out and nervous and excited all at the same time. I snuck the big pink box into my room and absolutely tore it open. Firstly, there was a box full of false nails, glue, and makeup. Then there were a couple silk nightgowns and a few packages of stockings. There was a brown leather cigarette case, the kind with the snap clasp and 2 compartments inside was a pack of Marlboro Menthol Light 100s and in the inner pouch there was a pink lighter and 2 condoms and a note to never have unprotected tango. Lastly, at the bottom of the box was another smaller box, and I opened it up and was delightfully shocked. It was my very first real toy and a bottle of lube with a note that said, "Have fun becoming a woman." That night, I did. It may seem a bit inappropriate for some, for Mom's friend to have given me such a care package, but you must understand, she was like a mom to me. Present day, I am on hormones and I am transitioning to live full time as the woman I was always meant to be, and I'm still an avid menthol smoker. Seeing all the old school Hollywood starlets with a cigarette in between their dainty fingers brings me memories of my development. I was always attracted to them, but more so wanted to be them. I now consider myself bisexual and have been staying positive and moving forward. Every time I get ready to go out and my makeup is perfect, my nails are done, and I have a full pack of Marlboro menthols, I finally feel comfortable in my own skin. Thanks so much for letting me share, Miss Abby. You are so very welcome. I am so glad that you found a way and had someone to help you find a way to be comfortable in your own skin. I know that being that way and being bullied can be so difficult, especially in your formative years. Others can be so cruel and so mean, especially when they don't understand. Believe it or not, I get not so nice feedback every now and then for some of the relationship styles and comments and things on this channel. And I do believe that it is from people that don't understand, which is a large reason why I started this channel, was to kind of be able to give a place for people to talk openly about their kinks and fetishes and lifestyles, and to be grown adults about it, to have conversation, to learn a few things, whether you disagree or you agree. You know, you don't have to see eye to eye always on everything. You know, I know we're all different in a whole plethora of different ways. So, you know, you can have a conversation about it, express yourself, express your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, whatever, and others can do the same, whether they are the same beliefs and thoughts and opinions or different. There is a way to present them and be mature adults about it and have a mature adult conversations. Definitely don't always have to see eye to eye with things. You know, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. Whether they match or not, let's just respect that we have our own point of view and our own opinion, and be willing to hear each other out. You know, there's always that agree to disagree feeling. But either way, I'm glad that you shared your story with me. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you had someone who was able to help you come to terms with who you are and help you be more comfortable in your own skin. It doesn't matter what your gender is or what your sexual orientation is. Sometimes being comfortable in your own skin and just feeling like you can be who you really are isn't always easy. And sometimes you do get bullied and made fun of for that, especially during those awkward years. Um, but yeah, we all go through it in some way, shape, or form. Your situation was a little more out of the ordinary, um, obviously, but I'm glad you were able to have someone to talk to and open up to, and someone to kind of help you come to terms with your own feelings. I know not a lot of people, and how you felt and what you were going through, and I know a lot of people don't always have that. So I'm very glad that you were fortunate enough to have that and have someone to kind of guide you and help you navigate what it was you were feeling, because that's really important. No matter what it is that you're going through, um, to be able to have that support is wonderful. Um, Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for sharing your story with me and with all of us. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Um, and until next time, everybody, love, hugs, and kisses. We'll see you soon.